Good morning and welcome to the 8:15 daily operations weather brief. We're looking at a slightly cool, dry, and windy day ahead as Hurricane Imelda continues to push further off to sea. And generally speaking, all of those conditions will be gradually improving throughout the day, with the exception of the winds. They do look to linger around just a little bit longer, but we'll touch on the timing of that in a little bit more detail as we move through the forecast ahead. Now, looking at this morning's surface analysis, we do see that Hurricane Imelda continues to track further off the coast and out to sea, and that's leaving these breezy conditions in its wake. And as that storm moves away, high pressure is beginning to build in from the north and working to draw in some cooler air behind that tropical passage. And as this high pressure system is expected to strengthen through the latter half of the week, it is going to continue to pump in that modified continental air mass across our region and bring us those cooler temperatures, and that will extend into Thursday and Friday. Now, come Thursday, winds will finally be starting to diminish as that pressure gradient between the high up to the north and the tropical system begin to relax just a bit, and that will also allow that high pressure region to slowly slide southward and begin to eject into the western North Atlantic off the mid-Atlantic coast, and that's going to bring some cooler weather once again, but then we will see a following warm-up beginning as we head into the weekend, and then dry conditions to note for the week ahead. Now, as for our current observations out here on the base, we do have a few clouds at 4,000 feet and a broken layer at 25,000 feet with currently unrestricted visibility. And our winds are out of the northeast at currently 22 knots, gusting up to 30, and we have seen a couple gusts higher than that, but that is what is being read off as of the moment. Our temperature currently sits at 67 degrees, and our relative humidity is at 62%. Looking at this morning's satellite imagery and the most recent past, we can see here the cloud cover that was noted above in the form of that upper level broken layer. And generally, we can see that those clouds are slowly but surely drifting southeastward and moving further away from our area. So with time, we should see some improving conditions, and as that high pressure draws in some drier air, it should erode the clouds just a bit. Now that brings us to today's model run. This is the HUR, a high-resolution model on a 24-hour loop in which we can see the hurricane working its way well out of the immediate scope of our area, and we do remain modeled to be dry with a couple showers, very light reflectivity being modeled off the coast there, so maybe we see a passing shower, but overall our chances should remain rather low, and wind should be the real story headline of today if there were to be one. And that's going to bring us to the 24-hour forecast here, in which we do have those broken conditions currently turning to scattered cloud cover throughout much of the day and into the overnight hours before we see some clouds building in once again early tomorrow morning. As for our temperatures today, they do look to remain just ever so slightly below average, with a high under 70 degrees and a low just above 60. And our winds are going to be the main concern today, with a wind advisory currently in effect and elevated sustained winds, as well as gusts by nature gusting even higher than that, as high as 30. I wouldn't take 35 out of the picture, but with time we should see those winds slowly start to subside. And then by tomorrow, we should see a good bit of relief, turning to just breezy or slightly breezy conditions as we move into the day tomorrow. Other than that, we do have a drier air mass, so not really seeing any concern for low ceilings or low visibility. Just, again, the winds are the main concern for today. Now, moving on to the short-term risk chart, on Thursday we can anticipate partly cloudy and slightly breezy conditions, becoming mostly cloudy as we move through the day, and a high of 68. Thursday night, mostly cloudy conditions and a low of 57, and then Friday, partly to mostly cloudy and a high of 68. And for each of these days, they progressively dying down in nature, but Thursday does look slightly breezy. Should be a good couple knots below a wind advisory, so no color on the board, but it might be just ever so breezy as we move through and start off our weekend. But that is going to conclude the daily weather brief. Be back at 10 o'clock with the 7-day outlook. Hope everyone has a great day.